So we were just in the back deliberating, and there were kind of 3 key themes that came up that I thought we'd just quickly discuss that was really carried across all the pitches that we heard and the products. So the first one being taste. You know, how important was that? What did you guys notice in terms of taste?
Well, I think it's fundamental, right? We're in the food business, so. Yeah.
And paramount, right?
Yeah.
Like it has to be the first thing that matters.
And the nice thing was everything tasted great. I think we all were kind of in agreement with that.
And I think the number one selling vehicle is usually sampling, right? So you better taste good, else no one's going to grab it. So.
Second, what came up a lot was packaging. Brian, you are particularly passionate about packaging. Share us your thoughts. What were some things that caught your eye as do's and don'ts on packaging?
Clutter with all the claims and everything. It's really a hard thing to do, and thinking about stacking a lot of claims on top of one each another. At some point, you end up not seeing anything. So, that's what spoke to me. Yeah. And
congruency. I think between packaging, product, concept, messaging, branding.
Yeah.
Alex, what about how packaging reads on shelf, things like that?
Yeah, I think we talked. I think a big thing in packaging is thinking about where does it sit and how you're going to merchandise it, because each category is merchandised a little bit differently and expected formats are different, versus like fridge versus shelf versus end cap versus front end. I think in each space you have to think specifically about how much space you're going to be given realistically in a retailer.
Yep.
Yeah, and the number one even golden rule at General Mills is from 5 foot away, you got about 5 seconds, right? To tell your concept and who you are and what's going on, and make sure you're bringing consumers to you. So if you think about 5 seconds and 5 foot away, and you can explain all that and get people excited about your product, then you're usually doing well with your packaging.
And then the last thing was health claims. It can be really tempting to make claims about your product. How do you guys feel about what claims you should be making and sort of validity around claims? Yeah,
I mean, one thing is, a lot of even some of the brands we have struggle a little bit with the whole throughout shelf life, right? As you think about throughout shelf life, you just got to make sure that your claims are what they are day one, then the end of your shelf life as well. But also, and I think Angie pointed this out a little bit, is around probiotics and other things. You might have to explain a little bit more about some of the claims, especially if it's a kid product or whatever it might be, of just how to not use it per se, but just a little education maybe would go a little bit of ways as well.
Brian, you have products with that have health claims on them or nutrition claims. How do you pick which ones should be on your packaging?
That's the question that's really important. I mean, just because you can claim it, don't just put it on the package. You have to prioritize it. And that really goes back to what I think we've heard yesterday and from other folks is the why behind a brand. So as long as that, so that should help you focus on which claims are important to you. Hopefully that makes sense.
And just speaking generally, what were some of the things that drew you to the winner? Angie?
Generally.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we, interestingly, we didn't really talk a great deal about price point when we talked about concept, we talked about innovation, we talked about competitive nature of where the products that could step outside of a competitive sort of landscape, and that helped us make a decision, I think.
Great. Well, are we all set to go and announce the winner? Yes, thumbs up. Okay. Okay. So the winner is, do we have a slide? Creation Nation. Woo-hoo. Are you here? Come up on stage. Karen, come on up. So guys, what'd you love about Creation Nation? Now that we can speak specifically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing else like it in the marketplace. For me, I mean, that was, and you were, sort of new, but yet you had some traction. It was a dimensional product. It provided sort of a connection to the kitchen, which I value, I guess, with food. And I guess that we do think that the package needs some help. Like there's some architectural things that and almost every package needed help, and it's a constant, continual process to improve packaging and communicate the messaging and to your consumers. So, from my point of view, that's my feedback. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the true creativity of the idea and the product, and almost bringing back to kids some healthier versions of way to help make healthy snacks back to the home a little bit, but in a somewhat a convenient way. And then the price point differences, because not everybody wants to pay $3 for a bar. If you're buying, a handful of bars every week, or if you know you're going to put them in lunches or whatever, to me it makes a cool, unique angle to that's probably missing actually in the market. So it's fun. It's a fun product. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Thank you so much. We're going to have you stay up here to get a cup and some pictures. But just to wrap everything up, thank you so much for joining us today. If you are staying on for BevNet Live or you're local, please join us at our Cannabis Forum this weekend. We also do have BevNet Live if you have a beverage or are thinking of starting a beverage. And just to mention, if you had a good time here, guess what? Early registration for NOSH Live Summer is open, and you could even be the next winner of the NOSH Live Pitch Slam. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope we'll see you in New York this summer.